Hey lovelies, welcome to this tutorial Tuesday. Well, I don't know that this video is going up on a Tuesday, but I'm filming it on a Tuesday and it's gonna be a tutorial. We're gonna be working with the Sydney Grace Coffee Talk palette today, mostly because a lot of you actually said that you would like to see this one used. I did haul it in my recent Sydney Grace video sharing what I got in the Christmas and July sale, and I kind of like skimmed over it because A, it's been around a while, and B, it's just a nice basic cool neutral palette. But several people said, actually, I'd really like to see what you do with that. So I thought that that would be what we use for today's techniques. And also, pretty much all of us have some like cool neutrals like this. So I figured even if you don't have this palette, you could pull something out in your own collection to use to recreate these looks. So it's totally not about the palette. I'm glad to feature it and show you and give you my thoughts on it at the end, but I'm sure you can recreate these looks with another set of neutral shadows. Now, what we are going to be creating today is a smoky winged look. I might do it two different ways or maybe build upon it. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this yet, to be honest, but I have had several requests for this. I think I maybe wore this look in my Lisa Eldridge lipstick video. I'm not quite sure, but I've done it twice on my channel here, and I've had people say, I'd love to see how you do that. And for me, this stemmed out of a need for something that works for hooded eyes, for slightly wrinkled eyes, for less than perfect eyelids. I myself have not only hooded eyes, but one is like slightly different than the other. The fold is different. So to create like a sharp winged liner, it just takes too much time most days. And so I wanted something that sort of gives that vibe, but is maybe a little easier to recreate. So that's what we're gonna do. And like I said, I'll probably do one and then like build upon it into like a full eyeshadow look. I'm not sure, we'll see. We'll see how far we get into this. I really don't have much on my face right now because for something like this, especially if you are new to this technique, I would recommend just putting the rest of your makeup on afterwards. That way, if you need to clean up, it's a little easier as you go. So I hope for those of you that either requested to see looks with the Coffee Talk or to see the smoky winged liner, I hope that this is helpful for you. And if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And please let me know if you are new here, what would you like to see me do a tutorial on in the future? I would love to know that. I am here to help if I can. We're gonna dive right into this. I'm gonna zoom you in. Let's get started. All right, like I said, not much on the face. I did go ahead and do brows to start. Honestly, I am a person where brows is one of the last things that I do, usually because I don't always know where I'm going with my eye look and I want to create a frame that fits the painting, if you will. So for instance, if I end up doing a very subtle eye look, I want a more subtle brow. Sometimes the eyeshadow gets a little extra, so I feel like I need a little bit more bold brow to be able to balance it out. So that's usually the way I go. However, today I do have an idea of where we're gonna go with this, so I just did your basic brow. I just threw a little bit of brow pencil in, a little bit of clear gel to like tame down the 4 hairs that I do have, and that was basically it. So now I'm actually gonna go through and just pop a little bit of concealer onto my upper eyelid. I'm not gonna worry about anything underneath in case we end up cleaning up anyway. And yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and do a little concealer. You can go ahead and use your favorite eye base. If you like, you know, an eye primer, go for that. I'm just gonna use a little concealer, so I'm gonna go do that quick and then we'll get started. I chose to go through with the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape Concealer, and then I just dusted a little bit of the RCMA No Color Powder over the top to set it all down. Again, you can use whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and go through on my trouble eye first, because we might as well do the hardest one first. That's always what I recommend to people is, you know, do your struggle eye, if you will, and then you can make the other one match. This one for me is a little bit more difficult because my fold almost has a fold. That's where I'm getting, oh my Lord. So I will be turning 41 next week, and the challenges, let me tell you. But I have definitely noticed that my eyes have, oh man, this one. So I have almost like a double fold here. It's not quite a double fold, but it really gives me some grief. And so this is exactly why I choose to wear my winged liner like this, because it's just a little softer, a little more foolproof, if you will. And I hope that you enjoy this. And like I said, I probably will end up like taking this into a full look. So what we're gonna start out with, as I mentioned, we're gonna go ahead and go through with the Coffee Talk palette for shadows. I am also gonna pull out a gel liner, and you can totally use a liquid liner if you want, like a pen like the KVD one or whatever one you choose. I'm actually gonna go through with a gel liner because I just find that it's a bit easier to work with as far as smudgeability if you wanna do that. Also, I find that most liquid liners shrinky dink the eye skin just a little bit. When you put it on, it tends to like, it just brings everything in a little bit. It's a little hard and it doesn't work as well when you're using eyeshadow to blend over the top to blur it with. So that's gonna be what we do. I just pulled out this Juvia's Place one. I don't even know if they make these anymore. I got a brown and a black in some sort of kit. I am right now just using, this is a Moda brush, I do believe. Yep, it's just a Moda little liner brush. Use whatever you want. I will share with you the brushes that I use and show you the shapes, but it's the shapes more than anything that's important. Now, the angle and the length of this wing is totally up to you and your preferences, right? Now for my eye shape, I do have slightly downturned eyes, so I've always enjoyed a more lifted eye. Right now the trend is definitely going towards like almost like a straighter eye, which if you do have hooded eyes, that's gonna be easier because usually you're able to like get past that hood a little bit. So feel free to do that. I'm gonna go like not super high wing, but not straight out either. So somewhere in the middle. And like I said, I always start on my difficult eye because I feel like it's easier to match them up that way. So first of all, what I'm gonna give you is the key point of keeping your head straight on this whole time. Now, for me, that's gonna be a little bit more difficult because I don't wanna like, I don't wanna cover the camera up. So you might see me tilt just a little bit so I can have you guys be able to see this, but you definitely want to stay straight on. And also you want to try not to like lift your brow too much or scrunch down at all because that changes everything. So neutral head position, neutral face position. All right, so the first thing is finding that position that you want. I did already like stamp down one thing, but this liner is so dried out. I had to pull out some Duraline to refresh this. So I'm just going to pop one little mark to see where I want my line and if that's where I want to see that. So I think that that looks pretty good. It's so much easier to like wipe away one little mark than it is a whole line. So I just like to see like, okay, is that gonna be at a good spot for me? And just go from there. So I think we're gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna wipe a little bit of this off. Now this part, if you are newer to doing a winged liner at all, you could always go through and do this first with a dark shadow. That again might be even easier to get off than like a liquid liner or a gel liner if you're just looking for that like little bit of a security blanket, if you will. So you could always just go through and do this with shadow and then go back over it with liner if you really want to. And now I'm just gonna draw a line from the corner of my eye to that target zone. So again, for me with slightly downturned eyes, I don't want to have this go straight out from this corner because that's technically lower than my inner corner. So I really wanna have this lift up just a little bit, even if I'm going for more of a straight look. Okay, so I have my little angle set up and now I can go through and add into the inner corner. Now, because I do have this fold, and actually this wing is gonna come down slightly, almost like just to where my fold starts. But the nice thing about doing a slightly smoky line is it doesn't have to be a perfectly crisp line. I'm gonna get this fairly crisp, but because we're gonna smoke this out with shadow, it's gonna make it really nice and soft. So if you don't get this absolutely perfect, have no fear. So again, here, I'm going to keep my head straight on and just draw this in. And I want to use a light touch so that I don't drag my lid too much. That is going to be the thing, is be firm enough that you draw the line, but not so firm that you like pull on your skin. If you don't have the most taut of skin, it's very easy to like drag and pull and have a completely different line once you let go. And if you have any area that you need to fill in, you can feel free to do that once you're done drawing. For reference sake, if I am doing this on myself and not filming it, I am like right up here in my business. so that you know. So like, feel free to be really darn close when you're doing it on yourself. Okay, so here we have this nice little wing. This is, for me, like, it almost looks straight. So I don't know if you can even see, but I just really think that the texture of a gel eyeliner, it's just a little softer. It's just a little softer than a liquid liner, and it leaves the eyelid skin less like shrinky dinked. If you've used a liquid liner and you've tried to make a thicker wing, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's almost like lacquer that dries and sort of like makes the skin wrinkle, and we don't need any more wrinkle. So now I'm just going to do the same on the other eye, starting out with just a little bit of liner on this brush and trying to hit that target the same. Okay, so now the reason that I like doing a little smoky shadow is, for me, when I do this, I feel like this starts to look just a little saggy with just a liner, because you have the dark line, which makes the face recede, right? Just like wearing dark pants makes your butt look smaller. So having this dark line makes this recede. And then if I have too much light right here where I feel a little hooded and puffy, it makes that pop out. And so it almost seems like the hood kind of like comes out a little further. So what I'm gonna do is take that darker shadow and smoke this line out a little bit so that this feels still a little bit more recessed, but it still has a winged feel. Okay, so now we're gonna start out with small brushes. So I'm gonna start out with this Goss number 5 brush. This is just a tiny little pencil brush. I will probably move into this slightly larger one. This is the E11 from Lara Faye. Like the B1 from Blend Bunny Cosmetics would also be a nice option. So we're gonna start out small though. I'd rather have something small and like really detailed and then move into something that's a little bit larger as we go. So I'm just gonna take this espresso shade. This is the darkest shade in the palette. And obviously this shade is like not black, right? It's like a more brown black, and it's just gonna soften out this line a little bit as well. You could go through with black shadow if you want to, but I actually like this option. So you'll notice that I'm holding this brush fairly close to the tip. That's gonna give me more control. This is gonna give me more softness. Getting up a little closer is gonna give me more control. Control is what we want right now. And I'm just coming slightly outside of that line that we created to blur that edge. And remember, you can always pick up more shadow. Once it's there, it's kind of hard to come back from. Okay, so here I'm just like building upon the shape that we already had there. And then I'm just starting to angle this in a bit more. So my goal is to sort of get rid of this awkward fold right here. So I'm going to darken in that entire like shape there. All right, so time out here. After filming this video, I was looking through my previous videos and I saw the look that I was wearing in the Lisa Eldridge video. That one was more like just a smoky liner. So you would take everything that I've done here in just a smaller shape. So if you're really just going for that slight liner look, you would do these same steps, do the gel liner and just softly blur out that edge with that slightly lighter eyeshadow. Now, this shape that I'm doing is actually a little bit more similar to the look that I first had requests for to do, which was the Best Lip Color products for dry winter lips, which was done obviously last winter. So hopefully that helps you. You really can kind of get like 3 looks out of this technique. Okay, so I've gotten just to the point where this fold starts to happen, and this is where I want to start blending that edge away to kind of like blur out the shape. So now I'm going to take a slightly larger brush. You can start out by not putting any shadow on the brush and just blur out what you've already laid down. You might just have to go back through, but very delicately now I'm holding this brush out a little bit further with you know, a neutral eye, I'm just slowly wiggling this brush back and forth. And then once I feel like I kind of have the shape, I obviously just want to like close my eye a little bit, just blend this. But I'm always taking a moment to open my eye, make sure to check the shape, make sure that nothing weird is going on, that I still have balance. And I'm also gonna take this brush just above that line that we created and just blur out this very, very edge. Now, if you want some extra insurance, you can just take a clean, like a naked brush and just blur that inner edge. So if this is all you're gonna wear, you're just looking for like that slightly smoky look, you could just blur that edge. But I really think that by darkening in this corner right here, it gets rid of that fold, right? So I still get that like winged smoky look, but it's a little easier to do than just a crisp wing, especially if you're going to want to tip this wing up into your folded area, then that shape just becomes even harder to conceal. So for me, I just really like this smoked out edge. It still gives you that like smoky liner, slightly smoky eyeshadow look. So again, I think that this is just a flattering shape, a winged shape. If you have a lot of folds or you have a hood out here, this is just a flattering shape to cover up that difficult area. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, the key is to keep your brush close when you need the control and then to pull it out more when you need something that's a little bit more soft, especially if you're working on loose skin or wrinkly skin. You want something that glides over the skin really nicely, and having something that's matte, having something that's darker is just more flattering on that area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm totally gonna do that on this eye to show you what it would look like if you just wanted to stop here. That's all you wanted to do. But we're going to keep going on this eye so that you can see the options if you wanted to expand this shape. And of course, I want to use more shades in the Coffee Talk palette. I'll be right back. Okay, lovelies, here we have the finished face. I kept everything pretty simple because this look really is all about the eyes. By the way, I'll have everything that I'm wearing linked down below if you're curious what else is on my face. But I did put mascara on this eye so that you could see what this would look like if you just did that liner. Well, liner slash shadow. Schliner. Oh, that's not a good one. We're not making that a thing. So I do think that this is a very flattering eye shape for hooded eyes. So we're just gonna take it up a notch. This is, by the way, the light version of the Coffee Talk palette. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but that does make a little bit of a difference. Usually there's only like one or two, I think it's usually 2 shades in a palette that's a little bit lighter or deeper depending on your preferences and your skin tone. So this could be a very, very high drama look. I mean, I feel like we're already getting a little high drama, so I don't wanna take it like too glam. I want to keep it just a little softer, so we're just going to add a little bit to this. What I'm going to start out with is taking this Ristretto shade and popping this on my inner lid, and then we'll blend into what we've already done. We might use the espresso shade, we might use a different shade. I'm just going to do this dry. Oh, and as I'm popping this on, what I should say is after putting on my foundation and concealer, I did take my liner brush with just whatever was left on that brush and just crispen up the line, the very, very outside line, just because I wanted that to be very sharp. All right, I think I'm just gonna leave that little bit of shimmer. Then on the middle, I'm going to take, which one of these shades should I take? I've got Java and Cold Brew. I'm gonna take Java, that's this middle shade right here, and I'm just going to use that to blend these two together. So blending the shimmer into our espresso shade. Now, I don't really want to get any shimmer like very far out because of that like liner. I really want to keep that very like matte, but I just want to have these two blend right here. And by the way, I was just using the Blend Bunny B1. That's one of the brushes that I had given as an option before. Now I'm going to take the Sonia G Crease Pro. This is just a really nice, like, does a little bit of everything, but it is really great in the crease. I'm just going to take this Frappe shade and run this up here to blend the upper crease even more. And then at the very end, I just like dust everything off of this brush and just run through, and you can see my hand is held pretty far away from the ferrule just to get a light sweeping. Honestly, like if you have folds or creases or wrinkles, you really want something that isn't gonna displace your skin and move it all around. That's when you start to get skipping. This looks really good. I do wanna go back through. I'm gonna take that Larafay E11 brush and just run it into a little bit of espresso. That's that dark one. I feel like I blended it away just a little bit. So I feel like adding that little shimmer, even though the shimmers in here aren't like super, super light, that just added a little bit of reflectivity and kind of pops the eye forward a little bit. Okay, now for a very easy inner corner highlight, I'm gonna take my Refer 12 and go into Crema. That's that lightest shade in the Coffee Talk palette, and that's just gonna be our inner corner. And just whoop, like pop that in. So that, whoo, that is light reflecting, holy moly. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do to tie the under eye together is I'm going to take Java or Frappe. Which one should we go with? Well, so let's start with Frappe. That's gonna be a little less dramatic. We'll go with that. If I wanna go back through with something more dramatic, I can do that. I'm gonna grab another, oh, you know what? Let's go through with the BK Beauty 204 brush. I'm just grabbing all sorts of brushes today, but this is really nice for like a very quick, easy, smoky under eye. So I could just keep it like soft and blurry like that. I actually really like that. I think what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of Java. That's the shade that I used right here, and I'm just gonna pop it on this very, very outer corner. Yep, that's where we need to stop. At some point you just get, you're like, oh, okay, we're good. And I'm there right now. So to try to amp it up more, I'm just gonna take my finger in that Ristretto shade just along this very inner corner. Oh yeah, I just made that pop. This is definitely like glamour date night kind of situation. I really like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop some mascara on this side, and we can look at the difference between these two eyes. Hold on just a second. Okay, here we are with the second finished look. This is just another coat of mascara on here, and then I did go through with some black liner in the waterline just to really like give it that amped up look. So you can see here, and this one definitely has more going on. You've got some shimmer to like really give this look a pop. This is just really that basic shape. So I think you could use this technique in a lot of different ways with a lot of different shades. Like automatically, I think like, ooh, this would be really cool for like a burgundy or a navy smoky eye in the fall time. Fall time, is that a thing? In the fall. So this you could really incorporate in a lot of ways. If you don't want to quite go with like a black or a soft black, you could very easily use a gray. I think I did that in one of my looks. You could also do just a nice brown, you know, whatever you choose to do as far as shades go. And you could also do like slightly lighter. If you did a lighter brown liner, you could go through with lighter eyeshadow as well to blend this out. So also keep in mind that your eye shape is going to make the shape of this look different, right? This is what looks best for my eye shape. So just keep in mind that anywhere that you put the dark, it's going to recess your hood a little bit. Anywhere that you have a little more lightness or you don't blend the dark into, it's going to pop forward more. And I think that the angle of your liner, depends on your eye shape. Like I mentioned, if you have more downturned eyes, you really want to make sure to, even if you want the look to be straight, don't go just straight. Tilt it up just a little bit so that it looks straighter with your downturned eyes. If you want it very high, you can certainly do that. If you have a bit more of a round or, you know, something that's upturned, going straight out would be fine as well. It's really just all about playing with it and seeing what makes you feel most confident, and some of that is within the practice of this. And so just know that if on the first try you don't nail this, do not worry. It happens. We all need to practice a little bit. And the nice thing is, since this is a smoky look, you can just kind of like blur it out and blend it out and no one will ever know. All right, so here is just one more look at both of these options. All right, here we are, all zoomed out, done with both of these looks. Please let me know what you think down below. Please let me know if you're gonna give this a try. If it seemed helpful to you, I hope so. Like I said, Practice is what really has to go into this. Try it on a night like right before you're going to wash off your face. That's when like trying new makeup things is always great. Like, I'm just gonna give this a go for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, play around with it before I wash my face before the end of the night. That's always what I suggest, because then it's not in the morning, like when you have to jump on a call or when you're running to work or something. You can, you know, really just like experiment, have fun, make discoveries without any repercussions. Anyway, so let's talk about the Coffee Talk palette. I'm just gonna let you know, I mean, I truly don't think I've ever gotten anything from Sydney Grace that I've been disappointed in. I think that this is a beautiful palette. It has beautiful tones. I like the fact that they're, you know, I said that this is a cool neutral palette, and overall it really is, but you do have like this ristretto shade is technically, I think, more of like a warm gold. It's like an antique gold shade. So that kind of like tips that point, but you do have the shade Macchiato in here, which I didn't use today, but that's just like a very gorgeous, yummy brown shade that I think looks flattering on basically everybody. So I think this is a very wearable palette. Like, you have a really nice bright shade for when you're wanting an inner corner pop, or maybe just to like throw all over the lid. So I think this is gonna be a beautiful one to play with. I'm definitely glad that I got this in the sale, because I don't think that any of these shades are unique to anything I have in my collection. So I also want to say, while I love this, and if you don't have a lot of Sydney Grace shadows, or you are like a super fan for neutrals, I don't necessarily think that anyone needs this palette. It's super cute. I love the coffee theme. You know I'm a sucker for coffee, as I'm sitting here with my very empty, very large coffee. I love a good coffee theme, but it's not necessary. You can totally recreate both of these with shadows in your own collection, whether it's neutrals or beyond. Again, I hope that this has helped you. Let me know if there's anything that you would like to see in the future here on my channel. If you did find this helpful, if you just enjoyed hearing me talk about Sydney Grace eyeshadow, please don't forget to give this a like. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. I will see you really soon.